You can never bathe in the same river twice. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Dr. Schilling with today's Daily Insights. So what does that mean, you can never bathe in the same river twice? Well, people think immediately, they visualize a river. Like, we're like, well, I went back to the same river and took a swim in there. That's the same thing, right? Well, two concepts. One, you're never the same person going back to that river because every day you have an experience, you change in some way, shape, or form. But also that river is always changing. It's always flowing, right? Water does not stay stagnant unless you're in a pool. So the circumstances of life are never going to be the same. We're never going to show up in the same situation twice. It's like snowflakes out here, given it's snowing so much. So the question is, how do you adapt to environments and appreciate who the person was the first time you came down to that river or experienced that versus now? And understanding, like, we're at the beginning of the new year, so this is kind of inspired by the new year because people are like, well, I'm starting over again. And I think about it as like, you're not starting over, you're starting anew. Like, this is a new year, a new day, a new hour, a new minute, a new interaction, new conversation, new whatever. And you get the chance to show up differently. You're not a rock. You're not, this hard table over here. If you can imagine that every time you step into a new environment, whether that's stepping out of your car and seeing someone in the parking lot, walking into a building, going into your home and seeing one of your family members, your kids, your spouse, whatever that is, imagine every opportunity you have as you're entering that river again, you're coming in as a different person. Unless, of course, you choose to just throw up your hands and be like, screw it, nothing's changed anyway, so why would I bother changing, right? I'm purposely sitting here today because we have our new artwork. If you haven't noticed, you're probably like, what is that beautiful thing behind Dr. Schilling's head? Well, this is a metaphor for the journey people take when they come into Secoya Health. Like, you're transitioning into the woods, across this path, and it's like a new beginning, okay? And you have that opportunity, whether you think about it as a new year, or a new day, or maybe just had a tough conversation with somebody and you need to shake that off and you're like, oh, God, all right, starting over again. Here we go, right? Or if you have to remind yourself over and over and over, like, I'm worth it. I deserve to have my needs met. I'm done self-sacrificing for everybody else. Like, these are things that people deal with every day. Every day. It never ends. So rather than thinking about, I'm doing the same thing over and over again, stop and say, how can I show up differently? How can I be a different person, act differently, react differently, speak differently, talk differently, eat differently, whatever it is for you, whatever that thing is. Because no matter how many times you go back to the same river, circumstances will always be different. And your interaction with them can always be different, unless you choose to not change. Which, ultimately, I believe if you're not learning and growing, you're basically dying. Like, your body's just going to start saying, well, we just better pack it in, we just start toward that, eternal dirt nap somewhere down the road here. Let's just start making it happen. Because your brain, unless it's challenged, unless it's growing, unless you're teasing it with something new, something exciting, something like, oh, I already know that. Well, find something different. Show up differently. Come to this river, to the banks of the river you think you know, and have a different perspective. Stand on your hands. Go up in a handstand. Look at it from a different perspective. Lay on your side. Turn your head sideways. Whatever that looks like for you, have a different perspective, because then when you show up differently, everything in front of your landscape changes. The people, the things you see, the things you get back from it. So the point of this is to stop taking things for granted that you already know how they're going to end, and choose to see things differently. Choose to show up to the banks of that river, even though you think you know it, you have it memorized like the back of your hand. Just know that you can show up different, which means everything in your life can be different. All right? So, whether you want to go bathe in that river again tonight, whatever that looks like for you, just know that you get to choose how to show up. And the metaphor for the new year is great for the new day, the new hour, the new conversation, the new breath. Whenever you're stressed, take a deep breath. Let it go. Let that minute go, because it's gone. It's never coming back, just like the river. And then choose to be different. Choose to act different. Choose to show up different, and your life will transform in front of your eyes. All right, guys. Hope that's been thought-provoking for you. Hope it gets something out of it, and you can think about something differently, which will then change the way you think, act, and feel. And you're on the way to transformation. All right. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.